Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. I have had this Shaman for a long time, and these green scales are absolutely fine. And this knife is primarily a work knife, but I wanted to give it a little bit of extra bling, so I got something that I think will make it look nicer. This is only a 209p blade, which is basically the equivalent of 20CV and M390. But I saw these and I thought that they would look really cool with this. I might eventually get a different steel, like if I could get like a 15V or something like that. I might upgrade and put these scales on something else. But this is from Flytanium. Got like a work finish, titanium silver finish here. Looks really nice. I love these Lotus scales. I already have some Lotus scales. I have the copper ones, and I did this build here on this S90V SPYDERCO Paramilitary 2, and it's really nice. It's got the lynch clip here, and also it has the very nice CME compression made easy from OCD for EDC. So it's CME from OCD for EDC. Very, very cool. There'll be links down below for this, but I already have experience with Lotus scales. This thing also needs to be cleaned up because it's been in my pocket a lot. I also need to sharpen it with a KME sharpener. So this is the start of a redo of this, and I'm probably going to do a couple of videos. The first video is going to be taking this apart, doing some maintenance on it, and putting on some new scales, some new fancy scales on it. The second video will be sharpening this, I need to probably take I might take this off, the compression made easy. Although I like it, it just doesn't match those scales well, but maybe not. Maybe I'll keep it on for now. First thing, though, I need to do is go ahead and take this knife apart. So, I'm not sure if I have done maintenance on this before. This knife has been in my pocket for a long time, and there are little spots of rust here and there, and I think that's just from sweat. I'm going to line up all my hardware from pivot down this way because that's the way that I do it every time. And I'm going to take it apart starting off with the show scale side. I'm using Weehaw bits, or Wahoo bits, as I like to call them. Come on out. These Shamans are a great work knife. They're a destroyer. Like cardboard has nightmares about this knife. So this knife will just go through everything and anything. SPYDERCO does great heat treats, and I have dogged this knife, and it's just finally starting to be a little bit on the dull side. But because SPYDERCO's heat treats are so nice, usually you can sharpen it up to an enormously great extent. All right, so now I've taken this off, and I felt some spring give way, and that's from the compression made easy right here. You can see this is kind of like a liner lock, but a reverse one that happens on the top of the blade rather than the bottom of the blade. Nice full liner here. You can see I've got lots of gunk in here as well, which is not very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning all of this up, and I am going to, of course, replace this. So eventually this will go. Did I grab the right one? This will go here, and we'll just do a little preview here, what this will look like. Yeah, that's going to look pretty darn sweet. I'm going to like that a lot. All right, so I need to clean this up. All right, so we're going to take some Q-tips here, and we're going to start cleaning this up and taking this apart. I'm going to take the blade off of the pivot here. I am going to have to take the clip off here in a minute. And I'm just cleaning off the blade itself. You'll see that some dirt is coming off of there. And I'm going to take the phosphor bronze washer off there. I'm going to keep cleaning this up. And I'm going to clean the lock face here. The lock face is, of course, on the back top part of the blade. Definitely some gunk there. I want to clean that off too. And the detent hole is right there. And I'm going to clean this side off. And you can see that I have some, what is that, rust, patina? I'm not 100% sure. And I'm going to clean out the pivot here. And the finger choil, the forward finger grip has grit in it too. So I'm just going to use this Q-tip to try to get some of that gunk out of there. Okay, and then I'm going to take good old raggy poo and just kind of wipe it down. This is a micro or a non-tearing cloth here that won't leave any residue on here. And then I am going to take this liner here and clean that one off. Again, get some more Kleenex or some more alcohol on this. I've already applied, I've already put on this OCD CME compression made easy tab on here. I'm going to keep it on for now. I'm going to clean out this pivot here, and there's a couple places of gunk here that I'm just going to make sure it gets cleaned off. Again, so that stop pin just flew out of there, and the stop pin had a lot of gunk on it, so I'm going to go ahead and completely clean that off. Lots of schmutz. So like I said, I've been, all right, if I need to take a big heavy knife to work, and I know I'm going to be cutting up a lot of things and I need a workhorse, this is definitely one of my workhorse type knives. So it has an extra amount of grime and grit and has been exposed to sweat. 20 CV to which I believe is Crucible's version, and then there's M390, and then there's and this is 204P. It's a CTS 204P. That's Carpenter steel. That's their formulation of this, but it's all basically the same thing. I didn't quite realize that when I bought this. I thought I was getting something else. And later I realized that this was basically M390. The world has a lot of M390 in it. Kind of wish, just given the fact that Spyderco is known for great heat treats and using a lot of unique metals, I kind of wish that I had ended up getting a more unique metal from them. Something like 15V, which sold out immediately. I don't even know if they've done a Shaman in 15V. But something just a little bit more unique from them would have been cool. But it didn't happen. And, when you're crying over the fact that your knife is 204P, you probably have bigger problems in your life that you should be paying attention to. So I shouldn't complain too much. So this pivot right here is locked, and basically the pivot locks the washer to the side on the Spyderco. So now in order to remove this scale, I need to take off this clip and the pivot from this side, and so the pivot fortunately locks in there. It has a D part to it, so I'm able to get that off. This goes on the clip side, so I'm going to put it beneath the pivot that I know came from the show side, and then I'm going to hopefully take this pivot off. Not 100% coming off right now, and I don't want to lose it or force it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take off the clip. This is a Lynch clip, by the way. I think I even got some new Lynch clips, and I didn't think that this black Lynch clip, this is I think the blacksmith finish, I didn't think that it would match with these new titanium scales, but now looking at it, I think it might look really good. But I might have gotten some new scales, or sorry, some new clips for a couple of my different knives, and I think one of the ones that I got was a new clip for this Shaman, and I might even have it already here. There we go. So I have a package right over here, which I believe is from Lynch Clip. And if it is, we'll be able to add that to our to-do list today. So here is the back one. So I'm going to put the back one back here. This is the show scale side. So we've got this nice spacer back here. I'm worried about the spacer being a little too shiny compared to the scales, but I'm probably just being paranoid. There's that nice big black spacer. This is a heavy knife, and this G10, this green G10 that I'm taking off, is fairly light, all things considered. But all right, you need to come out now. I've got the perfect pokey tool here and the spring bar tool. I love this guy. For some reason, this isn't quite coming out, even though it should be. All right. I'm going to take my little pair of pliers and see if I can get in there. There we go. And I didn't even lose it. How amazing is that? I use my little pair of pliers to pull that out very carefully. Hopefully I didn't scratch that. I did not scratch it. Perfect. So there's the pivot. And here's this side. And now this G10 side should just come off. And this side, for some reason, is a lot less dirty than the other side was. Interesting. And I'm going to clean this phosphor bronze washer. Despite being used so much, really doesn't look like it has that much wear on it. This other liner looks practically darn right clean compared to the other one I had. And now this seems to have fully married itself to this, so I need to get these apart from each other. So I think I am going to use my little squeegee tool here. If you've ever changed a screen, there we go, on an iPad or anything like that, they usually send you one of these little like pry tools, and they're very useful. So I highly suggest adding that to your knife kit. There we go. It just slides right in there and pops right off. Very nice. And so here we have this other scale. Going to just take a rag that's dipped in a little bit of alcohol, give it a once over here, and then I'm going to rub it off. And there we have the other side. So we're going to go ahead and take this. Oh, and I'm going to go ahead and clean the spacer back here, the back eye here. And I'm going to go ahead and take my spring bar tool, a little bit of Loctite, and I'm going to take that Loctite and I'm going to put it inside the back spacer where the back spacer screws get screwed in. A little bit of there, a little bit in there. And look, they had so much extra gunk in here from the old Loctite that actually I just poked that through and got some of this old white Loctite out of there. I'm going to take a little bit more Loctite, and while I'm doing this and thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and put some in the pivot. A little bit in this side, and then a little bit in this side. I like to do the set threads rather than the threads of the screw, but you can do it the other way around too. Whichever way you fancy is fine, but that's just the way that I do it. All right, so this is this side. Yep, great. And then we need to put this washer on. And then we need to put the pivot on. All right, so upon further investigation, I am not smart, which everyone knew. This actually has a D cut out right here, and I was trying to press it in where the D wasn't. The D faces straight down, and I should have been aware of that. And once I had it in the right orientation, it just went on very easily back there. So it's not a free spinning pivot, and I don't know why I made that mistake, and I apologize for being not smart. I just used some KPL knife pivot lube on the phosphor bronze washer and on the pivot itself. And next, what I want to do is go ahead and, you know, I actually, and again, I probably did this a little bit out of order. What I really should have done next, although this isn't going to move now because it's stuck in there pretty well, is I should have put the back spacer on first. So here's the back spacer, and it lines up right like that. And then I'm going to take the show pivot side screws and put them in there. And luckily, I put them in the order that I want to put them in. So there we go. All right, so there's one hole. And then we'll do the other one. And I already put knife pivot, or I already put Loctite inside the threads of this backspacer. Just need to line this up correctly. And I've only done one other set of Lotus scales, but the machining on these are exquisite. And as far as I know, I've never heard of anyone complaining that their knife doesn't fit. They usually get it right. All right, so now that's all put back together. And next I need to put the knife and the lock pin. I'm putting the lock pin in, and I'm putting the knife down. I've already put some oil, some KPL on that. So that is going to go there. And then next I need to add just a little bit of oil on top of this. So I'm going to take just a little bit and put not too much right here. I'm not going to put any kind of oil on the faces of the lock. That'll just cause lock stick. And I do not want lock stick. And then I'm going to take my last washer. I'm going to put it down over here. And then I am going to take this guy and flip it over onto here with, all right, so I'm going to put the liner back on the scale over here like that. And I'm going to put this down over yonder. You can see the lock pin actually comes out right there, which is pretty cool. And I am going to take my pivot. So I forgot to put the pivot screw in on the other side. I'm just going to, on the show face side. So I'm just going to tighten this up just a little bit here, not too tight, especially since the lock hasn't been adjusted completely yet. And then I'm going to take the back spacer side, put this on here, and then I'm going to take this guy, put it on back here, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the last pivot. Probably should have done that before, but it doesn't matter. I'll stay together relatively easy. And I'm going to put this on this side. And I am not going to tighten it up. In fact, I got tight, and now I'm going to go half a turn off. And I'm going to see how this closes up and works. Let the oil go through there. Does this feel tight? So it's not, there's just a little bit of blade play. So now I'm going to do half a turn on this side, half a turn on this side. In fact, this side feels a little bit looser, so I'm just going to try to even up the amount of tension on both sides. Make sure this still drops shut. It does. Blade play, just a smidge of blade play. So again, I'm just going to do a little quarter turn on each side, and this side feels still a little bit looser than the other side. I'm going to try to even it out. So now it's not dropping shut, and there's no blade play, but it's not dropping shut. So I'm just going to come off the smallest amount possible on both sides. And now it is dropping shut. And the oil will work in there, around there, and make this run smoother and smoother as we go along. What do you think of that finish? This workman's like bead blasted maybe finish. This green CME probably needs to be changed, and that's easy to change. I'll just need to, I might need to open it up to heat up this metal side again, or I might just use a little blow dryer to heat it up just a little bit, and then I'll be able to pull it sideways and snap it off. It's pretty easy. But I'm going to keep it on there for right now. I'm going to carry this, sorry, Schlesinger, Sal, whatever his name is, the guy who designed this. But I'm going to carry it right hand, tip up, carry. I know that that hurts your soul, and that you think that that is the wrong way to carry a knife, because you always send the SPYDERCO knives tip down. But I like it this way. So, and also Flytanium, they'll let you have a left or right option, but they do not have a tip down option. They only have left or right-handed. What do you think? Looks pretty good to me. This is a monster. Full finger grip. And now we have the battle-worn version, and we have the brass version for the PM2. Very nice. I also like that the Shaman doesn't have a lanyard tube hole. It is a cutting tool meant for a factory or for a work site, and I absolutely love that. And I love the feeling of these Lotus scales. Definite awesome upgrade, and surprisingly cheap for what they are. So thanks so much for joining me. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. I couldn't do this without you. And thank you for giving me a like or for subscribing. I really appreciate that too. If you'd like to become a Patreon member, you can find a link below, and there is a link to everything that I used today down below as well. And if there's something you have a question about, please feel free to leave a question. Sorry for this very long video, but sometimes doing some of these bigger maintenance projects and teardowns take a little bit of extra time, care, and love. See you guys next time. Bye-bye now.